Today is the video you've all been waiting for me to make. We're going to be doing a comparison between BFS and spinning gear. We're going to find out which one works best in certain situations, and overall, is this something you really need, or can you get by with just this? Stick around, we're going to talk all about it. Got him. Oh, no you don't. Oh, no you don't. I got him. It's not a bad one either. He came up and smashed that. Come here, you. Oh. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing, and this is a video I've been wanting to make for quite some time. We're going to be looking at a good old Finesse spinning setup, something a lot of us cut our teeth on and that we've relied on for years, and we're going to compare that to a BFS setup. BFS stands for Bait Casting Finesse System. It's a bait casting reel that's meant to use much lighter weight lures, much lighter weight line, and it even comes with a light up to an ultralight rod. They're made for super finesse type of presentations. Now, do you need a BFS setup, or can you work a finesse spinning setup and get away just fine? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to compare the pros and the cons of each, and hopefully by the end of this video, we will have a good answer for that, whether you need BFS or whether a spinning combo will work just fine for you. But before we get started, if you like what I do here, click that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a like too. And while you're down there, check out my Patreon over at patreon.com. The link is going to be in the pinned comment as well as in the description. It's a place where I can interact with my viewers on a more personal level, and you guys can help me decide what parts I'm going to put in my boat. So check it out. I think you're really going to like it. So a good old finesse spinner, something that a lot of us cut our teeth on. This is what I graduated to whenever I stopped using a Zebco 33 when I was a kid. This was my first real fishing setup, a open-faced reel as we called it back then, or a spinning setup. And I have put my faith in these ever since. They're great setups. And I love using a finesse type of presentation. It's for casting much lighter weights. I have much lighter line, and I can work some places that are very hard to work, very hard to get to with a heavier type of presentation. So when a lighter type of presentation, such as this little Rebel Minnow, is called for, something like a drop shot, a wacky worm, a NACO rig, even smaller types of topwater or crankbaits, this is going to be the ticket. Now, what does it do well? First and foremost, it handles those light lures great. Now, the second thing it does is this will cast a mile, which really helps with these light lures. You'll be able to cast them much farther distances, and you'll be able to work them with a much more delicate hand. With something like a wacky rig or a NACO rig, that is super, super important. But I went out on the water and I wanted to test that spinning combo versus a BFS combo. So I worked them on the water. I put them in very much the same type of conditions, and I worked them with the same types of baits. What I used was a Heddon torpedo. That was the bait that I tried to use the most on both setups. And when it came to using it on that finesse spinner, well, this was the result. Oh, be good to me. It's not going to be, but I'm going to... Got him. Woo, what a fight. Good fighter. Oh, goodness gracious. Come here, you. That's a nice fish. So I was catching some pretty nice fish on that finesse spinner using a top water. So what things does a finesse spinner do well? Well, like we already mentioned, they cast well and they can work smaller baits very, very well. However, one of the bad things about them is casting accuracy. A lot of times they're just not going to be as accurate as a bait caster. And if you're old like me, and that string gets caught on that finger time and time again, and you end up going in some crazy directions. So those are definite negatives. Another thing about them is that these tend to have relatively slow gear ratio, meaning that they don't cover water, they don't pick up line as fast as a bait caster. This is one of my fastest spinning reels, and it only has a gear ratio of 5.2 to 1. So every time I turn that crank one time, this spinner spins 5.2 times. That's what allows me to pick up the line. Now that may sound like it's a lot, and back in the day it would be screaming, but when you're looking at a bait caster which can have 7.5, 8.1, even up to 10.1 to 1 gear ratios, 5.2 begins to look a little bit lackluster. So overall, great setup. But at the same time, you're still making some compromises with it. You're still settling for things that you wish you could be doing with a bait caster. Mainly, pick up line faster and have better accuracy. And sometimes, working some of those baits is not as efficient as it would be with a bait caster. Now, don't get me wrong. Working a wacky worm, working a NACO rig, working something of that nature, even a small jerkbait, you're not going to have any problem with it. And if that's all you need to do, stop right there. End of story. You're done. You've got what you need. However, a lot of us anglers, we have a very broad spectrum of the lures and presentations we like to use. That's when something like this BFS setup can really come in handy. It gives us all the advantages of a bait casting setup, but in a compact design. This is a very small reel. Even though it's small, it still has a 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. So it picks up line pretty quick. This is a light 6.9 rod. Now, the one thing about this rod is it's a 3-piece rod. Instead of having just one piece or two pieces, it's actually 3 pieces. And that's because it's a travel rod. So again, that can also be an advantage. You can take this on a travel somewhere. You can put it in an overhead compartment on a plane, or you can easily put it in your vehicle and you'll have this little rod with you everywhere you go. Now, it gives us the means to work lures more like you would with a bait caster, such as a Zara puppy or even this little head and torpedo. And I was really able to have some good success with it. Now, it did take me time. This is not exactly like working a normal bait caster, although that's a good place to start. You still have to set these things up just a little bit tighter. Otherwise, they can be very backlash prone. I started out, I had 8-pound monofilament on this. That was a bad choice. I've since replaced it with 10-pound braid, and that was a much better way to do it. I've had a lot less backlashing problems, and it's been a lot smoother for me since then. So I think braid with these might be the way to go. If you have monofilament on there, they tend to want to fluff on the reel and spin out on the reel a lot. This I haven't had that problem with. It's been a great setup. It's been a bit of a learning curve for me because I've never used one before. You can't horse this. You've got to be delicate with it. It's a finesse system for a reason. And I think with a spinning outfit, we kind of know that already. You know you're not going to horse those fish out of the vegetation. And this is no exception. But I spent about a week, a little bit more than a week, getting myself familiar with this. And then I spent a whole day working nothing but the finesse spinner and a whole day working nothing but this. And I'm telling you what, this really surprised me. I was really surprised at how well it did in the vegetation. This fish right here, it shows you what I'm talking about. Whoa, boy, you slipped. Got him. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. I got him. I got him. It's not a bad one either. He came up and smashed that. Come here, you. Oh. I need to stop hitting that thumb bar. Look at you. First fish on the BFS. Alright. And he smashed it too. He had that front hook. Alright. So, I gotta get you off of there. I gotta get you off of there. Let me hit the handle here. Alright, let me get you. Let me get that hook out your face. Alright. Do like G-Man does and just throw it over the side. Yeah. Just over a pound, pound and a quarter on that head and torpedo, the chrome one. Nice. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you for playing. We sure do appreciate that. Alright, let's see if we can't do that again. So not a very big fish, but it was buried deep in the hydrilla, and that finesse system was able to pull it out without much of a problem. So I had to give it credit for that. That was one of the things I was wondering. Could I pull that fish out of the slop? And it did. Obviously, I'm not going to horse it. I had to work with it, but you do that with a finesse spinner. So overall, I really like the BFS setup. I really like the BFS system. This is going to be something that I'm going to be getting more and more familiar with. It's something I've been wanting to try for a couple of years and just really haven't gotten around to it. And now that I have, I really, really like it. Is it going to replace my finesse spinner? Probably not. I'll probably always work small jerk baits and wacky rigs or something like that on that finesse spinner. But whenever it comes to certain types of small crankbaits, small buzzbaits, small working topwaters, I'm sure that BFS is where I'm going to be doing my bread and butter. So check out that Cast King Kestrel. It's a great reel. So far, I'm really impressed with it, and I have put it through the grind. I don't like to review something after only having it for a day or so. I like to have something for a period of time where I can really put it through its grind. Now, if I'm going to point out a couple of bad things, because, hey, I'm me, I have to, it's this little ridge right here under that reel. I actually got a blister from holding it right here like this. My finger was rubbing up against that, and it actually gave me a bit of a blister, so I had to start holding it like this. It's a minor complaint, but it's still something that I thought that I should know. You know, if you do your finger like this with a bait caster like I normally do and how you palm it, you're going to have to worry about that ridge. Other than that, I haven't had a problem with it. The pommel on it, the handle on this thing is a little bit shorter than perhaps I would have liked, but it's a little rod. It's a little setup. This is a very light rod, so I really couldn't complain about that. That's just something that was kind of weird, you know, to get used to, because instead of grabbing it down here, I'm grabbing it up here, so that kind of felt funny. I'm not saying it's a knock. I'm saying it's something that I had to get used to. Another thing that I thought was really odd, that really surprised me at first, is this is actually made of plastic. And that's probably for weight reduction reasons, but this reel, this outfit is almost $200, which to me is right at the cusp of that budget. You know, $199, $200 on down. That's what I would consider in that budget range. And this at $180 falls right in that upper limit. And this is made out of plastic. And I thought, that's got to be cheap. But you know what? I have beat this rod up and treated it just like I did any of my metal bait casters. I haven't had any problem with it. I've caught fish with it. The drag has been great. The tension knob, the brake, all of that has worked flawlessly. I've been able to dial in just exactly how I want to have this set up, eliminate backlashes, and I've been able to cast into the wind and with the wind at my back. So I haven't had any problem casting, but it did take me a minute to be able to figure that out. But it's a completely different system. You can't think of this as a normal bait caster. You have to adjust it based on it being a finesse system. You're not going to hurl a 3/4 ounce one knocker spook on this thing. However, something like this little torpedo or something like a little Zara puppy, you can chuck that thing. I mean, it slings like a missile. So That's what it's made for, and you have to keep that in mind. All in all, I'm definitely going to be using that over and over, and I will gladly recommend it to anybody who's interested in it. If you're looking to get into a BFS, that Cascade Kestrel is a great place to start. Again, it's in the upper limit of that budget range at $180 or so. The link's going to be down in the description. And I've also had people tell me, hey, that Cascade Kestrel is what I started on using for BFS. It's a great setup. So apparently it's something that a lot of people like, and with good reason. It's a good reel. Check them out. Would I use a BFS over a spinning reel? Well, like I said, I'm going to be moving to BFS for a lot of things. For a few things, I'm going to keep my spinning reel handy. And who knows, over time, I may actually move away from spinning combos completely. We'll see. So there you have it. A finesse spinner versus BFS. Which one do I think is better? Well, I'm kind of leaning toward that BFS at this point. I've got better casting accuracy, and I can work baits more like I would with a bait caster, which is definitely a plus. Try it out. Make your own decision, but I'm telling you what, you're going to like that BFS reel. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.